with all of that done, let's have a look, because where we wrapped things up last time, so Kendra has told me that the Primos I'm seeking is the leader of her people. If I am to meet the Primos, I must first help her deal with a violent Jotun problem. A warlord named Karunk. I should meet with Sekundra's scout, Remus, and learn what I can about the warlord. Yes, Kiwis can fly. Thank you very much for the 66 months. 1/6 away from the Antichrist. I mean, you know, if you want to be sub to me for another 600 months, I think I'm okay with that. Aavak plays violin. Now I'm imagining the Dapper Dragon cosplaying as Sherlock Holmes. Elementary, my dear silent psychopath. Now which version though? Which version of Sherlock Holmes? Classic Sherlock Holmes? Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes? Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes? Sherlock Holmes is written or Sherlock Holmes as portrayed in modern media? Because they are very different beasts, every single one of them. Either classic as written or the great ace attorney Aavak Sholmes. I don't know what I should have expected from the Dapperlings. Right. Okay, we've got side quests, but I don't believe many of these are going to be active. Yeah, no, not that one. Not this one is an infinite side quest. It's a task. The Treasures of Meropis, we're not going to be doing that one. Rydark's Blade, not going to be doing that one. Road Patrol and the Guided Hand, very much not going to be ones we're doing. Legend of Dead Cal, no. Old Friends, New Friends. Yeah, the only thing we've got right now is Rites of Passage. All right. Okay. Take care, Mark Manifer. Now, in terms of my inventories, not really in the best place, I'm going to be honest. Consumable-wise, we've actually got a lot of healing potions, so that's fine. I should probably make some more. Currently rolling with the solid one. Is that one I made? I think it might be. I think we might have made that and named it ourselves. And Shine and Shadow. Okay. Currently wearing Vekreth's cap. We've got a 2-set bonus, 15% critical hit damage. Some exceptional armor. Silk Farmer's gloves and tempered leggings. Kind of liking our look right now. Vekreth's boots and Malachim talisman. We do have a couple of other offerings for our chakrams if I need to. I've got a couple that I can switch over to. Henge rings is the new offering, as that has primal damage. But it's a solid 20 points down. But I mean, it's a very nice number though. This is great in combination with other stuff. But I would say that it would be better for me to have primal on my daggers and then elemental on my chakrams. So we'll stick with the solid one for now. Congratulations on the 55 stream streak. Yes, Kiwis can fly. Well done. Some Shadow of Colossus vibes going on there. Sometimes I used to like just riding around in that game. I wasn't even pursuing any of the Colossi, honestly. I was just riding with aggro. Listening to the mournful music. Now, Many of the creatures here are going to be... well, we're going to see some that we're aware of already. But many are going to be a different type. Come on. Whoop. There we go. These, like, there'll be a different coloration, or they'll have slightly better stats, so on and so forth. But we'll see a host of the same old. But we are going to start encountering Naros-specific creatures in the not too distant future. There are some hidden bits over here. Crude Ash Buckler, that is definitely a junk one. Rare Cloudy Poison Shard. Our quest is over yonder. And definitely pay attention to the sky line in this one. Like, there's so much visual storytelling going on. That is extremely relevant to the stuff that's happening in this area. As is that, rather obviously. Giant floating cities tend to be relevant, I found. I would like to get to the point where I can start harvesting more consistently, but what are our skills right now? It's been actually long enough that I don't remember. Abilities-wise, nothing in might. 13 sorcery, 27 in finesse. These are being elevated thanks to equipment. So this one not. This one doesn't have a higher level, but these all have gone past their max. Oh, well, these two have definitely gone past their max, as is this and this, which is quite cool. Like, they'll just keep getting stronger and their effects getting more powerful as time goes on, as we push them beyond the max with equipment. Finesse-wise, we kind of want to keep them more or less in lockstep if we can. Currently a Warlock 25-25. What is the next one? Spell Cloak is 38-38. So we're a good ways from that. I guess we can afford to reach out a little bit. We've got a little bit in alchemy. Got a little bit in blacksmithing. Persuasion, getting up there. Sagecraft, we're actually not doing too bad at Sagecraft. Detect Hidden, we are almost there. At that point, we will see pretty much everything of consequence on the map. Dispelling is higher than I ever really take it normally. To the point that I am actually increasingly tempted to pull back 4 levels of this and redistribute them. Like 4 levels in stealth would be a solid one for us. One level in Mercantile would allow me to destroy items if my inventory's too full, and I'll get something back for it. Getting blacksmithing up a little bit further would also be quite useful. There's lots of ways we could spend these points. Maybe what I'll do, though, is I'll take that one skill away. Like, at my next level, I think I will go to a Fate Weaver. Though I'm not even sure we'll have access to a Fate Weaver in Teeth of Naros for a while. Pop 1 point from the level and this 1 point there into Detect Hidden to take us all the way up to the max. Yeah, Shadow of Colossus is a superbly made game. Absolute artistry. I just love like, looking at the mosaics, though. Like, the design of this area. I know I gush about this game a lot, but it's not just a flat texture. It's got a glassy metallic sheen. Look Look how pretty that is. And it's just the tiniest, most inconsequential detail and feature of this map. But the fact that this is there somehow conveys something of worth to the area. Like, it sets the tone for the area that we're in. The opulence. The grandiose nature of their architecture. Well, actually, I should compare that. Yeah, no, that's a little bit low. It is unlikely that for a while we will find anything that is comparable to what we are equipped with, I would say. However, the Earth Shrine has been discovered. I notice a sparkly chest. I will come and talk with you in a moment. I've played this before, okay? If I bring notice to it, it's because I know there's something behind it. But I mean, come on. This game does hiding things well. That was not hidden. That was just straight up like, hey, yeah, I'm here on purpose. Are we out of demos? No. You'll never be out of demos if you want to go and check things out on Steam, Chaos Dragon. There's plenty of stuff there. Silver Knight Greaves. Actually better than what we've got, but what I've currently got is a... Oh. No. No, for 5 points of armor, I'm not giving up 5% experience bonus. That being said, an armor slot and a utility slot are actually nice, but no. Right. Let's continue heading in the direction that we're actually meant to be going. I know, me progressing the plot? What is this? Softly, softly. I think I can get the middle one right here. Hi! Stop. Ouch! Oh, I couldn't get out of the way there fast enough. Colossi are inherently magical creatures that prefer to deliver their magic with their fists. I can respect it. They are not fake. Well, actually, maybe they are a little bit. If I'm not completely mistaken, they are actually giantkin. I don't believe that is wild fae. I believe they hail from hill giants. Now that is a bench. That is a very, very bold statement piece right there. Punchomancers, yeah, pretty much. Lots of shadow prisms. I'm liking it. Right, if you haven't already noticed, though, I'm sure you have. I am using this little bit right now just to get used to my movements again. Getting over to you is going to be a potch, but I will try. Ah, too late. You will not crush my guts. Also, rude. Your friend Dick might freeze though. Ah, and then punch him. I could take you out with Reckoning mode. I probably should if I'm honest. Crude Trollhide armor. I mean, that's getting up there. The basic stuff here is getting up there with exceptional stuff. Fine studded leather armor. That's going to be a nope. Take all on that one. All right. Let's start pursuing our goals, even if by small measures. Hello, Wild Say. I'm being surrounded, aren't I? Yep, I am. Okay, you know what? No. I dislike that you teleport. That is extremely annoying. Alright, let's take you out. How are we going to do it? What's the flavor of today? It is just a straight fist punch, turning your face into ground. Which is almost like floor chicken, but it's a little bit harder to eat. The Colossi are the only ones that can perform punchomancy. Why, hello. Hello, Yo-Yo Boué. How you doing? Floaty candles, I approve. Use a Colossi altar. Watched by the gods. What is that one? Temporary divine blessing granted you by shrine, +2 health regen per second. Wow. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Let's see where this goes. Bump, 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 and bump. I was kind of in an awkward place there. Necklace of Shelter. No. Hey, Juan Coladas. A 10 stream streak slowly building back up after my holiday to Japan. I'm sure the Japan holiday was well worth the loss of a stream streak. Welcome on in, mate. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Some more rogue colossi. Oh, you definitely saw me have a look. Yep. Oh no, it's not rogue colossi. My bad. Kobolds. High level kobolds though. Take all of that. Venom Guard. Ooh. Colossi Litany. Can I read it? Was that it? No. I believe I've already read that, surely. Yeah. There we are. An old litany that contains a special blessing. I cannot read it. Okay. We are going to get to all of the wonderful set pieces in this area in time. It is so tempting to just go and have a look at everything right now, but I will resist the urge. It's going dark. Stars are coming out. A Jap holiday? I'll see myself out. Yeah, you probably should. Game Hunter, if I'm honest. Yeah. Hi. Bloody kobold, man. Ah, I'm being surrounded. Kinda disappointed. You fools! Ouch. That'll have one of the rogues down there, generally speaking, the worst. Because those bloody bombs. This is the first time that I've come to this area with the re-reckoning update. So there may be quite a few things that are different from what I remember. Dilettante's necklace. I believe we've seen those before. I mean, the drop-in equipment is actually quite nice, but no, they're just flat out. Well, I mean, the lightning is okay, but I prefer the flat armor. Is that a door? No, it is not a door. Nope. Oh, can that stack multiple times? I'm very much on board with that, if that's the case. It was amazing seeing Enceladus. Although the 15th flight there and the 17th flight... sorry, 15th. I was going to say 15 flights? What airline did you go with that needed that many different flight changes? A 15-hour flight there and 17-hour flight back wasn't ideal. Are you not one that can sleep on a plane? I'm going to assume that being the case, if that was particularly rough. I don't know, I find something about the rhythmic thrum of the engines quite soothing. You're the one I should go for. I might be able to take them all out if I'm quick. Praying to a bone altar. Your bones can join it. Oh. Okay, you do not get stopped with that. Noted. Are you sure about that? I mean, maybe my fists wouldn't be able to hurt your stony skin, but I promise you my explosive chakrams can do quite a bit. As evidenced by the fact that you're dead. How close am I to the next level? We're very close to the next level. Yeah, you know what? That next level, I'm going to take Mercantile. I know my initial plan was something else, but I think I need the ability to scrap on the fly. I only get 15% of the value back, but sometimes not having to stop what I'm doing and come back later is worth the loss. Yep. Hello.
Ah, what a horrid little thing you are.
Wow.
Are you some kind of Jotun runt? Explain yourself quickly. The last thing I want is to give away my position.
Wow! However, your honesty is refreshing. But wow! This seems like a person who wears their true feelings on their sleeve. Tell me of Secundra.
She is a competent warrior and good leader, but she's served the city almost non-stop since she became the captain of the guard. Every day she seems more strained than the day before. How long can she continue serving the city?
Tell me about yourself.
I am a scout for the Idilla Guard. There are many dangers that lurk in the corners of this land. My job is to root them out.
Very well. Tell me of Karunk.
I have seen him rip a spear from his belly without so much as a grunt. We thought he might just not feel pain, but I know his secret.
Okay. Also, Mage, I thank you very much for the 27 months of dapperness. Here's to many, many more. I've heard of chiseled jaws, but this man has a chiseled beard. If only we could all aspire to such chadness.
They gorge themselves daily. They fight at the slightest provocation. They pride themselves on their odor. Are these truly the menace to our society?
Secundra wants Karunk dead.
That much I was aware of, and I knew Secundra would send someone. But you? A sign of the times, to be sure, but if you're to do the deed, then I have information that you will need.
What can you tell me?
Karunk is truly powerful, but no more so than his brethren. It is not his strength that's troubling. It's his fortitude. 2 kobolds he keeps with him work some strange magics that heal his wounds and help him resist injury. Kill them, and the fight is yours. Using primal magic would certainly help as well.
Gotcha. What is primal magic? You do not have enough space to hold items you were given. They have been dropped in a loot bag. Very well.
Strange thing, aren't you? Primal magic is a magic imbued upon weapons and gems. Only armament can channel it. The magic does some damage on its own, but its true strength is its ability to augment other magics you cast on your foe to a devastating degree. Take this weapon. Use it to inflict primal magic on a foe and let loose your spells. Even a Jotun warlord could not withstand such an onslaught.
Tell me about primal magic again.
It is an older form of magic, one that does little damage on its own, but can wreak havoc when combined with elemental spells. Using weapons infused with primal magic, you can increase your foe's magical sensitivity. Even a troll's hide will have its resistances sapped. Imagine loosing your most damaging spells with no resistances. Few would survive such an onslaught. Be careful.
All right, chat, we need to say goodbye to something. You can go. And you can go. A primal scepter. Well, it's not amazing, but I'll take it. It's going in the junk pile because I will simply be breaking it down. Now, were there... Was there... There is a blacksmith forge over there. Okay. We can perhaps head back to Secundra's camp, quickly use the forge. I might be able to throw together a bit, well, depending on what part is primal of the items that we've got, I might be able to forge primal daggers. Like most things have bindings, for example. Ah, I see. I cannot, in fact, forge the primal items that I would have liked. A shame. A shame, but we'll live with it. I don't have blacksmithing level high enough to be able to break down that tier of equipment. What can I make? Use cunning, don't need that. Purification potion, don't need that one. I do not have the necessary gubbins to make greater healing potions. Okay. Reagents don't take up any room anyway. I was literally only looking there specifically for potions that I could use. I'm magic. Major says, so it's stack chain debuff magic? Sort of. It works in an interesting way. So primal magic, as you saw, it's a dot. So it does damage by itself. But while it's active, the enemy has, I think, like 50% reduced resistance to every base element. Nothing in the game that I'm aware of, even in the Teeth of Naros, has any inherent resistance to primal magic. So they're not weak, but not resistant either. Nothing has any kind of immunity to it. As a consequence, and this is kind of, I feel like Teeth of Naros has been separate from the world for so long that the world has forgotten how to deal with the stuff here. In much the same way that, kind of smallpox in the New World, Europe, we've been dealing with smallpox for quite some time, sadly. And there were people who could live through it, who could catch it, and it wouldn't even be particularly debilitating. It would still suck, but they'd come out the other side and they'd just carry on with their lives. And over time, more and more people who caught it, and then died, well, they just removed themselves from the gene pool. So it kept on, the immunity continued to spread. But then in the New World, no one had ever experienced smallpox, so it pretty much just rolled through like this apocalyptic plague, wiping out entire cultures. Primal magic's kind of like that. The Teeth of Naros have been separated from the rest of the world for so long that nowhere else has any inherent resistance to primal magic. But in terms of the mechanics of it, it will reduce. It doesn't simply make them weak to the element, but it reduces their current resistance. So if they are 100% resistant, now they're only 50% resistance. But if they were 0 or even weak to the element, they're now much weaker. It helped that Europe was actively spreading it. Well, I mean, you say that, okay? Let's be quite clear on this part as a forward. The fact that it was actively spread by certain interests from Europe, yeah, that's terrible. But don't sell smallpox short. It takes a long time to do its thing, and then it does it with devastating effect. Smallpox would have rolled across the New World slower. That's the only difference. The moment it was there, it was now just a timer. And again, certain interests from Europe were interested in shortening that timer, but don't think that timer was going to just peter out on its own. It was now going to do its thing. Smallpox is, I think, unless you've actually looked into, like, in history and stuff like that, like, you studied the effects of smallpox, you probably don't really appreciate how horrifyingly bad it was. It's very easy for us to not really think that much about it, because, like, we've never had to worry about it. It's just been this thing that we were vaguely aware of was a bad thing at one time, but like how many other bad things were bad things at one time? Most of us, when we're children, get inoculated against the worst things. Like I imagine most people haven't had mumps. Hello? Rude wielder? No? Ow. Okay, that was rude. You know what I just realized? I haven't turned on my abilities. Haha! No. Okay, I need you to be gone. And I need a moment to do this. Oh, I can't go that way. Okay. Have you already murdered my... Oh, yeah. I'm taking unnecessary amounts of damage. Oh, I tried to time my dodge there. I completely slipped it. But remember the backswing. But yeah, it's surprising how tame being, you know, having had like, I don't know when smallpox was eradicated. I actually completely forget that now. I feel a little bit bad because that's kind of an important detail to have just forgotten. But it is kind of wild how being removed by several decades from the worst examples of a virulent disease can make it seem tame. It's like polio. All right. So Karunk's Tower, a hidden door. Let's go through this area first. Yeah, 1980. So it isn't actually that long ago. It's only like 4 decades. Well, you know, going on 5 decades, but I realized that I probably made a couple of people feel pretty rough with that. Framing 1980 as 4 decades away. It's like we're getting close to half a century away from 1980, chat. I apologize for those of you who I've just desiccated into dust with that statement. Epistle. Okay, I'll take that. But the last natural case of smallpox was in 1977, and the WHO declared smallpox completely eradicated in 1980. There you go. Wow, that shrine though, that's been giving me a solid bit of natural health regen for a while. And yet I was born after 1980 and was given the vaccine in 2009. Military, says Wolf. I imagine that, you know what, I don't know. It kind of makes sense. You know, because as much as I'm making a big song and dance for the lulz, 45 years is not that long in terms of like such a rough illness, especially if you're in the military, because you might be being deployed to all over the world. So yeah, it makes sense that given your particular profession that they would want to vaccinate you against it. Because as much as the WHO has declared it eradicated, I imagine that there are many caveats with that. And there are like I for a fact know the smallpox is kept in Britain in labs. I can only imagine this is true for most first world countries. I know for a fact that there is smallpox virus kept in Britain in labs. This isn't conspiracy theory. This is like straight up just flat knowledge. Though I guess from the perspective of someone who's leaning into conspiracy theories, that their conspiracy theory is also flat knowledge. But Teamwork says, see also current people who think measles is trivial, essentially because they've never seen it in its purest form. Oh yeah, no. Measles, mumps, and rubella, the MMR vaccine, Jesus Christ, you do not want to tango with that trio. Aavak, why do you know that for a fact? Do you believe what you have been told? Have you seen it? Is it in your basement? It's in the room with me right now, Nine. I keep her on a leash. I've trained it to only attack people I dislike. But no, funny thing about you know, actually, we're going to stop this line of questioning because yeah, no, never mind. We're walking this back. That anecdote is for another time. All right, lockpicking. And by other time, I mean that anecdote is for another time. Otherwise, Aavak gets in trouble. Oh, hello. I really like your hammer, young guy. I dislike it when I'm on the receiving end of it, but I do quite like it right now. Ow! Bloody kobolds. Why have you got pet kobold rogues? What an annoying pet. Reckoning mode back. Glorious times. I'm being so lazy because of the massive health regen buff I've got going. But that is really going to catch me off guard once that runs out and I don't notice. Colossi Litany. Why wouldn't he have pet kobolds? You know what? You're asking important questions. Here's an embarrassing bit of fact. Politicians and others in Florida are advocating against vaccines, pushing to eliminate them entirely. Okay. Okay, right. I've got no problem stating my feelings on this, but I'm also going to temper my opinion. I believe the vaccines are important. I do. I think they. I think that based on the readily available information, scientific medical information, points towards vaccines being a generally good idea. And the efficacy is tightly linked to a group effort rather than an individual effort. That being said, I'm just gonna play devil's advocate now here, chat. So that's my personal stance, and I've got no problem people knowing it, and I've got no problem, having a discussion about why I feel that. However, I will say that saying, well, it's very embarrassing that this is the case. I don't know. I remember a time when the prevailing scientific literature said that the sun went around the earth. And it was quite certain that this was the case. And in fact, further back, the sun was dragged across the sky by a chariot. It was a glorious time. Great things were done. Many of humanity's prize engineering achievements were accomplished in these times. So they were hardly times of barbarism and cave painting. And yet, the thing with science is it's an ongoing story. And, you know, I'm obviously, you know, hamming her up a little bit here just for funnies, but there's a nugget of my actual belief in this, in that it wasn't but a couple of hundred years ago that they were genuinely teaching that there were 5 elements. It wasn't more than a couple of decades ago that they were genuinely teaching that there were 5 senses. Science gets better over time, and sometimes what we believed genuinely to be the case, based on rational observation with the best tools that we had at the time, turns out to be horrifically wrong. Like, I'm not even just, you know, because obviously some of the examples there, I'm using that, well, it wasn't that science specifically thought that, it was like religion thought that, and that's a different kettle of fish. But religion and science was actually quite intertwined, and especially the further back you go, prior to the Dark Ages in Europe, it was especially intertwined. But, you know, even putting that aside, there are plenty of readily available examples of where science had something absolutely backwards. And this was not for want of genuine effort to understand the world that we were in. We just didn't have the right tools to understand how badly wrong we had gotten it. That we had observed something and thought that that was cause and effect in play, and it was not. So, you know, I'm just gonna say it is sometimes worth remembering that before you start bringing things that, oh, this is very embarrassing that these people think this. It's like, well, I mean, from our position right now, maybe it might seem like that, but who knows? In 50 years' time, people might be looking back and saying exactly the same for us, for thinking that vaccines were the be-all, end-all of the story. It's a very... And specifically what I'm honing in on here is like, oh, well, it's so embarrassing that there are people in my country who think this. Don't come at it from that direction. A lack of knowledge, or, you know, never mock someone for things. Never lambast anyone for being wrong, because that doesn't move the discourse forward. Right. We've got a secret door that I totally wouldn't have known was here without my super special skill telling me so. Aavak is older than expected. I remember when Ra was born. And died. And then was born again and died again. Ra had a pretty interesting life. Daggers of hemorrhaging. Oh, look, smallpox. I haven't caught up on YouTube yet. I even waited. That's why we haven't been streaming Amalur for so long. I let all of the VODs catch up to where we were in Amalur. Yeah, no, I definitely, you know, I'm not saying, oh, don't trust any currently held belief, because what if later in 100 years they find out it was wrong, so, you know, shouldn't trust anything. No, please don't interpret it like that. I am very, like I said, I'm very much, I feel that it's important to adapt to new information and to always be ready to, you know, change, or rather to, well, actually adapt is a brilliant word. I don't need to use anything else. To adapt to the changing landscape of information available and you know, the present understanding. Oh, damn it. I knew that was coming somehow. All right. Well, I can just hop back. I think I might even be able to just hop back like this. Yes, I can. Oh, that's fantastic. It is important for us to take on board new information, even where that runs contrary to what we have previously held to be true, perhaps even more important at that time. Let's go to over here. There we go. There we are. They should still be dead for now. Yeah, YouTube has caught up, but I have that fair. That is a fair enough. I'll take that on the chin there. Demo says that the bigger problem is the number of folks that are playing on people's fears to score cheap short-term political points. Well, I don't even think it's political points. There's always been snake oil salesmen. Dr. said, it was even a case how they taught things to children. An example, we were all taught that atoms were the smallest thing, and there is nothing smaller than the atom. Then 2 years later, they came along and said, you know that atom thing? We lied to you. Atoms are made of smaller things. But there's definitely nothing smaller. And then another 2 years later, they came along and said, hey, yeah, we lied to you again. Those smaller bit of atoms, they're made up of even smaller things. God damn. But yeah, no, exactly. And as our tools improved, we were able to get deeper and deeper down. And initially, we were building our model of how the universe worked based around the idea of the atom was the smallest thing. And then when there was something smaller, that we had to adjust that model to now include that new information and so on and so forth. It's nice. It's very comfy to believe that at our present state of development, we have come to the point where our model of the universe is accurate enough that even when new things are discovered that basically change our understanding, or in sometimes directly contradict what we understood to be the case previously, we're now dealing with things that are so small that they don't affect a big change to our way of understanding our model of the universe. But that is just us trying to comfort ourselves. It's always happening that science is like, oh, someone brought out this theory and it basically challenges everything that we've built our entire scientific model on. It's wild. And so we hate that person. And that person is not invited to any parties anymore. That guy sucks. And that person's life is ruined for like 50 years until they get tools that allow them to objectively prove that they were right. And everyone's like, wow, you were right all along. We still hate you, but now we have to pretend that we don't. And quickly scramble to try and make sense of this new information that we've got to try and readjust our universe model to fit with. Yeah. See, it's too many times that sort of stuff has happened for me to be completely comfortable. Because that's the issue. It's because everyone says, oh, politicians suck. They're all spreading this anti-vax stuff and this and that, and they're just trying to get their political points. Guess what, chat? Scientists are exactly the same. In fact, I'd say they're even worse. You have never experienced a pit of vipers more venomous than a cabal of scientists who have their favorite theory and are willing to die to defend it. Though they would much rather not die. They would far prefer to kill you, socially, career-wise. I'm not suggesting that there's actually some sort of shadow science government going around with assassins. More's the pity, honestly, because that sounds like a really cool plot for a story. But sadly, they're just going to make you feel really, really sad and alone, in hopes that you do the dirty work for them. Not that they would, again, no secret shadow government scientists trying to assassinate people. If the people that they make very, very sad because they say, nah, your science is shit and you're a shit scientist, just so happen to slip off a bridge accidentally on purpose because they're so sad, well, that's just tragedy, really. But it's not the scientist's fault. This turned really dark. I should have started this with a hashtag real talk. Long Game Hunter said, I have heard said that settled science is simply religious orthodoxy by another name. I have never heard that saying, but my God, does that align with what I feel? While that feels reductive, it seems to hit closer to the target than most scientists are comfortable admitting. Yes, no, 100%. A physics paper about a controversial discovery is the politest rap battle you've ever seen. Enceladus, how dare. One thing I like about Aavak is he's a really clever bloke. It's just a shame that he's Welsh. How rude. How rude. Speaking about rap battles, your house is now on Mary Shoyd's list. I hope your skills are better than mine. They're not, by the way. Your larder belongs to me. The next time I can be bothered to come and take it. I'm not going to do any damage to this Jotun. I will try all the same. Boom. I did nothing to you. I'm ashamed by how little damage I did. Where you going, pal? Tired? Good. I'm not going into reckoning mode for one Jotun. All hail the Omni Formula. Unified field theory is I mean, it's a beautiful dream. Oh, wait, there's a dispelling chest back here. Darkest Notice said, I mean, to be fair though, some of those secret shadow scientists do have access to deadly viruses. The point you make is valid, but unfortunately, I'm not happy about this. In fact, I would say that the validity of your point makes me more sad. Okay, we're starting to get up to high levels of armor now. I'm still going to say no, but we are definitely getting to a point now where I'm going to have to start thinking about that. No. Scientists don't want to be in the shadows. They want recognition for coming up with something that was right. I mean, it's not like they get paid for being right. That is true. That is true. They get paid for making other people right. And the more right they make other people, the more they get paid. And if another scientist is making the person that you're being paid to make right wrong, then they're paid for making the other scientist wrong. I'm just gonna say, look, a job in science, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Like I said, den of vipers. Now, at this point, do I save my reckoning mode? Do I save reckoning mode? I think we're close enough to a boss battle that I do. Sup? Ow! Damn, for a big guy, you can change direction pretty swiftly. Did you just barely punch me? I disapprove of being maneuvered in that way. That is so disrespectful. How dare you knock back using your belly? Wow. That was just uncalled for, dude. Pudge Punch was super effective. I know, right? I mean, to be fair though, as much as we're talking, and at least like a good 40% of what I'm saying, it's being hammed up for giggles. But there's truth behind it all, and I hope that the important parts are clear when I'm hashtag real talking versus just telling a joke. But it is reasonable to say, I wouldn't necessarily say the main part of science done correctly, but I would say one of the more important parts of science done correctly is the science of proving other science wrong. Like not malicious, not with some sort of ulterior motive, but like straight up, a big part of science is taking a theory and scrutinizing it and ruggedly testing it with the goal of proving that it's wrong. Like someone says, hey, this is what I think, this is how I think the world works. Well, now as other scientists, it's your job to put this through rigorous testing with the genuine goal of proving it wrong. Because if you don't approach it, if you approach it neutrally, or if you approach it hoping that it's right, you're not going to be super rigorous. Approach it with the goal, the genuine motive, the genuine desire to show that this is wrong. And if you can't, well, then in the absence of anyone else who can, it's probably right, or it's as right as we are right now. And through that, we get closer and closer and closer to the truth. Right, it's time, Dunk. It's been a long time coming there. Fortunately, the case that the scientific method is only half of science. You have to come up with a model before you can prove it. Yeah, like I said, someone comes up with, hey, this is how I think it works. Well, now the effort needs to be to try and disprove it. And if it can't be disproved, then you accept it as well. In the absence, if you've rigorously tested all the avenues that it could be wrong and you have not been able to disprove it, well, then you have to accept that regardless how off the wall it might seem, that for all intents and purposes, it's true until someone can prove it wrong. I mean, obviously, that you can take that example to ridiculous extremes, and at that point, it's not being argued in good faith. But hopefully, you get where I'm coming from. Now, the problem with finesse is I don't really want any of the abilities that I've got here to use. I'm not using a bow. I'm not using Fey Blades. I guess I could increase that. Like, how many points do I need? 35 points to get up there. Not really where I want to be. I guess lunge, maybe? Shadow Flare. Weaving a burst of shadow magic to wound and stagger enemies in an arc before you. Quickly press the button again to throw a volley of shadow blades, dealing pierce and bleeding damage. Staggers targets 4 meters in front of you and deals 3 physical. I mean, being able to stagger people is actually quite powerful. There's also the frost traps. Plant a frost trap, which causes ice and freezing damage to all nearby enemies when it explodes. A maximum of 4 traps can be placed at once. Or lunge past your foes with preternatural speed to attack them from behind. I mean, a good repositioning tool, I suppose. Or I can lean more into this. Get healing up, maybe. I've got 3 points that I could spend here. Then I would just need another 2 points to start going for other abilities. Are there any things I particularly like? Secret technique enabled to extend the duration of all your poison and bleeding attacks. Also increases shadow flare damage. Maybe that one is worth going for. Blade of Honing. Razor sharp blades of your weapons cut into your foe with ease. This ability is active critical hit damage for longswords, daggers, fey blades, and great swords. That wouldn't really benefit me super much. Your roguish ingenuity allows you to build frost traps that deal additional damage and disorient your enemies. No, I think this is the one that we're going to be investing points into then. There we go. I don't specifically need to go for it, so we'll just... I don't need to add it to my moveset, but let's have a quick peek at exactly what it can do. Oh, this has become a really chatty stream for some reason. Right. Shadow Flare. Okay. Can I map it to the UI? I mean, technically, I don't need those mapped to the UI because I will usually not turn them on or off. So sure. Okay, I use a little bit of my mana, but nothing too terrible. Is there a chicken over here? There is. Hello, Chili Bean. Really? Was that necessary? It was a chicken. Did I at least get something from the corpse? I did not. You murdered that innocent chicken for no good reason.